What is up, y'all? It's your boy Spicy Noodles. It has been a long time since I've made one of these. Life has just been lifing, and it got pretty chaotic for a while, but trying to get back on track. So we're coming back again with the new deck tech, this time for Kaalia of the Vast. She is Mardu color. She's a 2/2. She flies. Whenever Kaalia attacks an opponent, I may put an angel, demon, or dragon card from my hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. So the goal is to get her out and start cheesing out lots of big, scary creatures. So without further ado, let's get into this. I have separated the lands. They are just lands. There's nothing crazy in there, just some lands. All right, now let's get into the good stuff. Starting out, we have the Whip of Erebos. So creatures I control have lifelink. The second ability, I mean, we can talk about it, but I don't really use it. I just mainly use it for the lifelink. But you pay 2 and 2 black, tap this to return target creature card from the grave to the battlefield to gain haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step. If it would leave the battlefield, exile it instead. So, just, I don't bother with the second ability, but it's nice to have the lifelink to gain life back. We have a Chroma, Angel of Fury. She can't be countered. She has flying, trample, protection from white and blue. You pay a red, and she gets a +1/+0 until end of turn, and her morph ability, which we don't need that because, again, we're using Kaalia to cheese her in on an attack. We have Rune Scarred Demon, a 6/6 flyer. When he enters, search my card for search my library for a card, put it in my hand and shuffle. So it's a good, you get a big attacker and a tutor all in the same time. So what's not to like about that? Reconnaissance, so 1-drop enchantment, pay 0 to remove target attacking creature you control from combat and untap it. So you can use this to get the attack triggers from Kaalia without having to worry about her getting blocked and killed. You see what I'm saying? We have Secret Rendezvous. You and target opponent each draw 3 cards. Archfiend of Despair, 7-drop flyer, 6/6. Opponents can't gain life. At the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life that player lost this turn. So again, just more ways to inflict lots of mean damage. We have Drakuseth, Maw of Flames. 7/7 flyer. When Drakuseth attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target and 3 damage to each of up to 2 other targets. We have Teferi Protection to keep our stuff safe. Undying Malice. 1-drop until end of turn. Target creature gained when this creature dies. Return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner control with a 1/1 counter on it. So it's really good if somebody wants to, kill Kaalia during attacks. You can just pop and bring her back. We have Avacyn, the Angel of Hope. She's an 8/8 flying vigilance, indestructible. Other permanents you control have indestructible. Now, I had an Avacyn deck at one point. There's a deck tech video on this channel if you want to check it out. But since then, I have taken it apart and I put her in here because it's a better fit. We have Rakdos, Patron of Chaos. Flying Trample 6/6. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent may sacrifice 2 non-land, non-token permanents. If they don't, I get to draw 2 cards. We have Gisela, Blade of Gold Knight, a 5/5 flying first strike. If a source would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent opponent controls, it deals double that damage to that player or permanent instead. If a source would deal damage to me or a permanent I control, prevent half of that damage rounded up. So it's a good way just to inflict more damage and save myself a little bit. We have Lord of the Void, a 7/7 flyer. Whenever Lord of the Void deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 7 cards of that player's library, then put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield under my control. We have Terror of the Peaks. Spells your opponents cast the target Terror of the Peaks costs an additional 3 life. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under my control, Terror of the Peak deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. So there's more ways to inflict as much damage as possible. We have Relentless Assault to untap all creatures that attack this turn. After this main phase, there's an additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase. So just some ways to get some extra combats out of it. Get multiple Kaalia triggers. We have Balefire Dragon, a 6/6 flyer. When Balefire Dragon deals combat damage, it deals that much damage to each creature that player controls. So it's like an attacker and a board wipe for token decks at the same time, because most tokens are 1/1s. Just attack with him, deal 6 damage to all of them to wipe the board. Overseer of the Damned, 5/5 flyer. When an Overseer of the Damned enters the battlefield, you can destroy a target creature. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, I create a tapped 2/2 black zombie. We have Phyrexian Arena. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and lose a life. The one thing I noticed with this deck when I first built it was the lack of card draw. So you're playing black, life is a resource. Spend some life, draw some cards. We have Lysa, Shroud of Dusk. The first ability is only if you're playing her as a commander, which we don't, so it's irrelevant. But she's a 5/5 flying lifelink. Whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 2 life. We have Angel of Despair. 5/5. Whenever Angel of Despair enters the battlefield, it destroys target permanent. So you can cheese her in, blow something up, hit for 5. Vel'Gavoth, Terror Eater. A 9/9 with flying lifelink ward, sacrifice 3 non-land permanents. If a card you didn't control would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. During your turn, you may play cards exiled with Vel'Gavoth. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana cost rather than pay its mana cost. So I can, get rid of your shit and then take it and play it. So what's not to like about that? Swiftfoot Boots to keep Kaalia safe. Arcane Signet because we need mana rocks. Untimely Malfunction. Choose 1, destroy target artifact, change the target of target spell of ability with a single target, or 1 or 2 target creatures can't block this turn. So it's a good way to, oh, cool, somebody's going to cast Path to Exile on Kaalia, drop this down, and redirect it to one of their things. Magma Quake deals X damage to each creature without flying and each planeswalker. Everything in this deck has flying except for 2 creatures, I think. So, yeah, it's a good one-sided board wipe. Chaos Warp. The owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, reveals the top card of the library. If it is a permanent, they put it onto the battlefield. Angelic Skirmisher, a 4/4 flyer. At the beginning of each combat, choose First Strike, Vigilance, or Lifelink. A creature to control gain that ability until end of turn. A Path to Exile, because if you're playing white, you need a Path to Exile to get rid of stuff on the opponent's battlefields. We have Demon of Loathing, 7/7 flying trample. Whenever Demon of Loathing deals combat damage to a player, that player sacrifices a creature. Anya, Merciless Angel, a 4/4 flyer. She gets a +3/+3 for each opponent whose life total is less than half of their starting life. As long as the opponent's life total is less than half of their starting life, Anya is indestructible. Sensei's Divining Top. You pay 1, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back in any order. Tap it, draw a card, put Sensei's Divining Top on top of its owner's library. So you can stack your draw, essentially, or use the top to cheese something out that you need out quickly. For Ossification, at the beginning of your combat, you can choose 1. Target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Target creature you control gains menace and haste until end of turn. Excuse me. So I mainly use the give menace, so Kaalia can't really be blocked. Especially early game, it's really good. Later game, it's kind of mid, but if you can get it out early, it's pretty decent. Terminate, just to destroy a creature. Swords to Plowshare, again, you're running white, you need this card so you can get get rid of something on an opponent's board. Deflecting Swat, if I control my commander, you can play this card without paying its mana cost. You may choose new targets for target spell or ability. So similar to Untimely Malfunction, you can just redirect something somewhere else. Vile Mutilator. 6/5, an additional cost to cast a spell, sack a creature or enchantment. We're not casting it, we're putting it onto the battlefield with Kaalia, so that doesn't apply to us. Flying and Trample. When Vile Mutilator enters, each opponent sacrifices a non-token enchantment, then sacrifices a non-token creature. Boros Charm. Choose 1. Boros Charm deals 4 damage to target player or planeswalker. Permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn, or a target creature gains double strike until end of turn. I use it to keep my stuff alive, because it's kind of hard to recover from board wipes on here. So if I can make stuff indestructible, I'm going to do it. You can bet your ass. We have Sonic Shrieker, a 4/4 flyer. When this creature enters, it deals 2 damage to any target, and you gain 2 life. If a player is dealt damage this way, they discard a card. Soul Ring, because every deck needs a Soul Ring. Aurelia the War Leader. A 3/4 flying vigilance haste. When Aurelia the War Leader attacks for the first time each turn, untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. So, good way to get extra combats. Ancient Copper Dragon, a 6/5 flyer. When an Ancient Copper Dragon deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20, and you create a number of treasure tokens equal to the result. So, free mana on attacks, more or less. Mortify, to destroy a target creature or an enchantment. Supernatural Stamina. Until end of turn, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So more ways to just bring Kaalia back if she were to get nuked. We have Twin Flame Tyrant, a 3/5 flyer. If a source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals double that damage instead. We have Feign Death. Until end of turn, target creature gains when this creature dies. Return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner control with a 1/1 counter on it. So more ways to bring Kaalia back. Angel of the Ruins. A 5/7 flyer. When Angel of the Ruins enters the battlefield, exile up to 2 target artifacts and or enchantments. And we don't care about the plane cycling. It's just there. Bloodthirster. Now this guy is nasty. A 6/6 flying trample. When Bloodthirster deals combat damage to a player, untap it. After this combat phase, there's an additional combat phase. Bloodthirster can't attack a player it already attacked this turn. So basically, I can hit everybody in the pod with him every turn. We have Delny Streetwise Lookout. Creature you control with power 2 or less can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. If an ability of a creature you control with power 2 or less triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. So, they are in here to make Kaalia trigger twice every time I attack with her. We have Angelic Arbiter, a 5/6 flyer. Each opponent who casts a spell this turn can't attack with creatures. Each opponent who attacked with a creature can't cast spells. So, with this on the field, my opponents have to choose whether they want to cast a spell or hit me. They cannot do both. Unburial Rites. Return target card from the graveyard to the battlefield. Just a good way to bring something back. We have Brotherhood Regalia. Equipped creature had Ward 2 and is an assassin in addition to its other types and can't be blocked. So, it's a good way just to keep Kaalia from getting blocked and killed. The One Ring. It's indestructible. When you cast the One Ring, or when the One Ring enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you gain protection from everything until your next turn. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life for each burden counter on the One Ring. Tap, put a burden counter on the ring, and draw a card for each burden counter on the ring. So it's just some good card draw because, like I said, this deck lacks good card draw, so I've tried to put in some stuff here and there to help with that. Smothering Tithe. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If that player doesn't, I get to create a treasure token. So every time you draw a card, you can either pay 2 mana or I get treasures. So don't pay your taxes. Taxation is theft. Give me treasure. Archfiend of Depravity. A 5/4 flyer. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, that player chooses up to 2 creatures he or she controls, then sacrifices the rest. We have Nereeve, Heart of the Storm. A 4/5 flyer. If a creature you control that entered this turn would deal damage, it deals twice that much damage instead. We have Roaming Throne. Ward 2, 4/4. As Roaming Throne enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type. Roaming Throne is the chosen type in addition to its other types. If a triggered ability of another creature of the chosen type triggers, it triggers an additional time. So, play this. I choose humans because Kaalia is human, and it will make her trigger twice every time I attack. Lightning Greaves, just something else to keep Kaalia safe. We have Lysa, Forgotten Archangel. 4/5 flyer. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. If a creature an opponent controlled would die, exile instead. So with her on the field, none of my stuff really ever goes away. We have Demonic Tutor, so we can go find whatever we want and put it in my hand. Not Dead After All. Until end of turn, target creature you control gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control, then create a wicked roll attached to it, so it would get a +1/+1. Then we have the Soul Stone. It's an indestructible, tap, add black, tap 6 in a black, exile a creature you control, harness the Soul Stone. Once you have it harnessed, at the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. So again, none of my stuff will ever go away. There you have my list for Kaalia. I'm going to drop the deck list in the description. It's a link to Moxfield. All my videos have a link to their respective Moxfield list. So check it out. Comment. Let me know what you guys think about it. And while you're here, do not forget to go pick yourself up some Top Cut Gear sleeves. Best sleeves in the game right now. 150 sleeves, $12. Use my code NOODLES10. That's NOODLEZ 10 for 10% off your purchase. Grab you some, man. They really are great. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.